Alright, folks. I woke up this morning and made my tea, and the divine gave me it's about competition. Let's just put it that way. And I got this heavy competition energy. And in this heavy competition energy, there's a lot of people out there that's competing in an unhealthy way. You cannot, I guess you cannot you can't hurt somebody, put them down in order to put yourself up, I guess. There's some people that will literally step on their own grandma, and that's it. And it doesn't matter what happens to poor grandma, because they're in this heavy competition. I guess that's where we're supposed to find out if it's really worth the fight. And in this energy, I keep saying to them, there's results somebody got, but then they lost everything. But then, was it really worth the fight? They got what they wanted. They humiliated somebody. They got somebody to where they won't speak to them again. But now they can never go back. Now they can never go back because it got too toxic. And that's the vibe. The competition got way too toxic, so they lost more than they gained. Let's put it that way. So now, in a sense, I guess, they're being humbled. Because they lost more than they gained. You gotta count your losses. I always do that. Count your losses, and if your losses are more worth than your gain, then it's really not worth it. And somebody just kept going and going and going until they lost, until everybody just turned their back on them. And I don't think they're getting anybody back, is the thing. Because this competition they had going with everybody, it just got too intense. And they took it too far. They took it one step too far. This was taken one step too far. That's the message. So let's start with the epic game. The epic game. What's happening? The upper. I like to start with my little card games because as above is below. This would be what's going on above. To find out what's going on below. So, let's go find out what's going on above. Alright, we got Plentiful Dead, Evil Zombie event. So people that are dead inside are fighting people. Alright, so we got the people that are dead inside fighting other people in a competition. And you can take it as it resonates. Zombies to me are just people that they have no feelings. They have cut off they don't work off their chakras. They're imbalanced. That's it. They're just all imbalanced. And then we got a Dark Assassin, an evil human champion. Alright, so now we got a human that is in competition. And then we got soulless people and an evil human that are collaborating. To me, I've seen things, and things like this exist, folks. They exist. So don't think they don't. This is as above, as above. Alright, tell us also what's going on as above. Then we got Worm Hatchling. Oh, dang. And then we got World Worm Championship. Pull 2 cards. So to me, two dark people had a baby. So a baby came. There's a worm hatchling. It's not a divine child, but two people had a child. It says pull two cards. So, alright, so we got a baby on board. It's a dark child. It's not of the light. Oh, Lord. Alright, we got a necromancer lord. Somebody trying to bring back the dead. Evil human mage. I don't see anything good. There's two dark people had a child. And we got evil human mage championship. Alright, so another evil human. Probably to protect their baby. Fought the thing. And then we have a murderous necromancer. Evil human mage championship. Wow. And a baby. So somebody is trying to bring back the past no matter what. There's somebody trying to resurrect the past. The past is dead, guys. The past is dead, whoever comes across this reading. The past can never come back because that's what happens is the past dies. When the past is dead, it comes on. When you go to a funeral, is that person in the coffin coming back? And are you having tea again? No. It's done. They're getting a new body. But we got a good human token champion one. Alright, there's somebody that's a good human that's still staying on board. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Good had to arrive at some point. At some point, good had to arrive. And a good event. Draw two cards. God has arrived. God has arrived. After all that arguing, God will arrive after that arguing. Alright, now it says pick two cards because God's in the house. Alright, let's pick two cards now. Alright, Secret Legion. Oh, see, all the good cards are coming. I'm just flipping and doing this. Okay. Alright, the good human event is here. And we got a Secret Legion, good human event. Draw two cards there. And we got a good dragon champion. Somebody with this. So let's pull two cards for the Secret Legion. I want to say this would be the angels. That's like the God card over here. Source, God card, however you want to. Alright, we got a wild event that comes and Evil Demon Championship. Draw a card. Okay. Wherever there's good, there's bad. I knew with all this bad, there had to be good somewhere. It's just there. Alright. Okay. I think that's it. This didn't go very far. Okay. It doesn't say draw any more cards. Okay. So we got an Evil Demon Champion. And I drew a card with that. Alright, so here was somebody else that decided they didn't like God, and they were a part of this event here, okay? Alright, then we have a wild event. A wild event happened. Fire was cast down. You wanted to say the wrath of God, the fire of God. God cast down fire from heaven. Heaven, just the other worlds, or whatever. However you want to translate it as. And then we got a Wild Dragon Championship. Somebody with a very strong dragon spirit came down to save the innocent. Because it's a good dragon championship here. And then we got a good human event. Good Human event. All these people came, and I already drew 2 cards on this. All these people came, and with the dragon and all the good humans, this white dragon triumphed over all of this. So one person with a good dragon spirit triumphed through all of this. And this was all over competition, guys. I decided to get these cards because when I have these competition things, that's what I get. So it started out as a dark competition, and the light came. God came in and stopped this competition because it was getting too heavy. It was just getting way too heavy. So that's where we're at. And wow. Wow is all I got to say. Alright, I didn't draw out any cards, but I was going through my artwork, guys. And I don't draw cards out every day. Today just was like, ugh, I'm coming off 2 ear infections, guys. I go to the hospital next week. Anyways, I got this. And this was one of my drawings from like a year ago. And I never really thought of anything, but it was like a snake shedding its skin from a tree. And the snake to me is not a bad analogy. It isn't. Like Adam and Eve, it's just us identifying what our ego is and our shadow side. To me, snakes is a part of us. We're dark and we're light. Like this. Like I picked the stuff from this barrel. You know, I go in this damn barrel every day. Honor balance through dark and light. And just like in here, we honor balance through dark and light. There's the light, the tree of life, and here's the darkness that is in all of us. And these, one apple's upright and one's upside down and one's neutral. That's how it is in every single one of us, guys. Every single one of us have this. And I don't think we think enough of it. And our shadow work. We always have this. We always have our dark side. We all have our own demons. We do. I mean, and when I drew this, it was before I started my shadow work. It was way before I started my shadow work. I'm actually going to put it up. I'm going to put it up here because I'm like packing all my shit because I got a really nice apartment coming. A real nice apartment, guys. It's gorgeous. It's beyond gorgeous. It's just so pretty. I was blessed to get it. And the crazy thing is my credit. Now my credit's good, but at the time I was getting it, my credit wasn't good. And there was other people in competition getting this apartment with me. They were in competition getting this apartment with me. And I tell you, they told me come up with $3,000. And I said, okay. So I worked all these hours. All these hours. I worked like so many hours, and in 3 payments I will have it all for them. And I got this amazing apartment, and you have to have a key to get in the building and a key to get out. I have double security. Because honestly, I've been in a competition with somebody, and honestly, I didn't want to be in this competition with somebody. I didn't. Because I was in a competition with somebody that I truly loved. I did. I was in this competition with someone that I truly loved, and I was hoping that things could work out, and it just didn't, guys. So here I am But I'm recovering. I got this amazing apartment. I got my... Oh my god, I do recommend some herbal tea. I've been drinking this herbal yogi tea. And I went off coffee, guys. I was getting so anxious. I was getting so anxious on coffee. Oh my god, was I getting anxious on coffee? But I got this basket, guys. I got this basket with my dominoes and all my cards that I grabbed from my bucket. I did. Alright, we got strength in reverse. Let's talk about strength in reverse. And then we got honor. We got honor, balance through dark and light, and someone has strength in reverse. Both of these cards together mean something. You feel like you don't have your strength. Sometimes we feel our strength is gone. But is it really gone, guys? Or is it just you're so hurt you kind of forget your own strength? I think it's more you forget your own strength. I think we're all strong. We are. We are all strong. We are. We just gotta believe in ourselves. I don't think people believe in themselves enough. And then out of my homemade, we got a demon attachment, insecurity, and low self-esteem. Low self-esteem is considered a demon attachment. So somebody in this competition energy has attached a demon to you, and it's called demons because it's something that makes you not whole. It makes you not close to source. This energy just takes you from source, I guess. It does. And honestly, source is like the best thing in the world. I love source. I do. So I love it. I mean, source told me to come and talk to me about competition. And it was one of my things today. I'm still going to draw something and grab an energy, but this is about competition, guys. So we're going to talk about competition. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and... Okay, Isaiah is screaming in my ear. Isaiah is screaming in my ear, saying, "Here I am, here I am." I hope I can read this. I just hope I can read this. I love books. Oh my god, do I love books, guys. I am one of these people that could sit here and read books over and over again. I love them. I'm going to pause this and find my large print Bible. Okay, guys, I'm back. Alright. This is the New Testament. The larger print. Sometimes it's so hard to read the other ones because it's so small. But the thing about the Bible, it's the most widely read book in the world. And as a writer, everybody in the world has read this. A Bible. Even if you haven't read like the New King James Version, you read a Bible. Everybody has read a Bible. And I find that interesting statistic. Let's ponder on that. Really. If you ponder on this, you'd be like, oh, yeah, that's true. That's so weird. And I find that very weird. I do. But I do. I love source. And if you think about the Bible, Bibles is parables. You don't take it for face value. Everything's not taken for face value on here. God speaks to us as his children because we are his children. Okay, and then I got this, this here, Six of Wands. Someone did not have success and victory, Six of Wands, because of this demon attachment. You never have success and victory when you're not in balance with your own chakras, ever. Because you never see what's right in front of you. You never see what's right in front of you. That's the main thing, guys. You gotta see what's in front of you first. Because you lose things. And these competitions will make you lose things. And sometimes you can't go back depending on the damage. Depending on the damage. Alright, Hebrews. We're gonna talk. I'm gonna read from Hebrews. Today, God wanted me to just speak about Hebrews, and then a journey came. I went to go get a bookmark, and journey came. A unicorn. Someone's a unicorn going on a journey. We got long ago. God spoke many times and in many ways to our ancestors through prophets. And now, in these final days, He has spoken to us through His Son. God promised everything to the Son as an inheritance, and through the Son, He created the universe. And the Son radiates God's own glory and expresses the very character of God. And He sustains everything by the mighty power by His command. Or of His command, sorry. When He cleansed us from our sins, He sat down in the peace of honor at His right hand of the majestic God in heaven. This shows that the Son is far greater than the angels, just as the name of God gave Him is greater than their names. For God never said that any angel what He said to Jesus, "You are my Son. Today I have become your Father." God also said, "I will be His Father, and he will be my Son." And when He brought His supreme Son into the world, God said, Let all of God's angels worship Him." Regarding the angels, He says, He sends His angels like the winds, His servants like flames of fire. But to His Son, He says, "Your throne, O God, endures forever and ever. You rule with a scepter of justice. You love justice and hate evil. Therefore, O God, your God has anointed you, pouring out the oil of joy on you more than anyone else." He also says to the Son, "In the beginning, Lord, you laid the foundation of the earth and made the heavens with your hands. They will perish, but you remain forever, and they will wear out like old clothing. And you will fold them like a cloak and discard them like an old clothing, but you are always the same, and you will live forever." And God never said anything to the angels, "Sit in the place of honor at my right hand until I humble your enemies, making them a footstool under your feet." Therefore, angels are only servants, spirits sent to care for people who inherit salvation. Okay. And these are parables. Alright, so if we are the sons and we are the daughters of God, which I feel that people forget to say this, the sons and fathers, or the sons and daughters of God, we got a responsibility to not be so toxic. We do. And no matter what you do, let's say you love somebody a lot. We all do. That's why we get in these competitions. Okay, was a temporary situation. Something was a temporary situation. Alright, we go in these things. Alright, we go. Alright, and then we got Eight of Cups. Somebody's walked away from a temporary situation. It might be where you were supposed to be with someone in this lifetime, but to God, you're their son and daughter. God, time is infinite. Time is infinite. And the next lifetime is like blinking to God. You know, you might just like this moment, and he blinks, and I'm in another body. I might have blonde hair and be 20 years old in another body by the time he blinks. That's how quick it is. Alright, and this is fighting for what you love, claiming what's yours is a battlefield. Alright, here's another example. Alright, we got somebody walking away from a temporary situation, and they're fighting for what they love. Could have been in this lifetime. Are they going to be with them again? I mean, I guess it's up to us, but depending on what you did to that person, if you go pray to God, literally, and say, God, I really love her, I really love him, I want them back, yada yada, God will try to help you, but your prayers might be answered in another lifetime. I've been told to tell somebody. In this lifetime, might not. Or now I got here, Seven of Lions, protecting family at all costs, nurturing. This person is Seven of Lions. They're fighting for their family and protecting their family. They have given up on this situation. They see it as temporary. They see, I mean, whoever I'm speaking to, they see you as temporary. And their family is now their main focus. And they're allowed to go do what they want to do. People are allowed to do what they want to do at all cost. They are. I mean, let's get another scripture, because this person prayed about this too. God told me they prayed too. Alright, so we're going to read about this. Alright. I wish I could get palms. I had a big one with large print, and damned if I can't find it. It's crazy. I had a large print too. It was wonderful. Alright, I'm going to see if I can read this. Yeah. It says, yeah, I like the little unicorn. The little unicorn. Alright. Alright, this Psalms 28 is coming out for me. It says, I pray for you, O Lord, my rock. Do not turn a deaf ear to me. For if you are silent, I might as well give up and die. Listen to my prayer for mercy as I cry to you for help. I lift my hands towards your holy sanctuary. And do not drag me away with the wicked, for those who do evil, for those who speak friendly words with their neighbors while planning evil in their hearts. Give them the punishment they so richly deserve. Measure it out in proportion to their wickedness. Pay them back for their evil deeds. Give them a taste of what they have done to others. They do nothing for what the Lord has done, or for what hands have made. So he will hear them down, and they will never be rebuilt. And it says, yeah, praise the Lord, for he has heard my cry for mercy, and the Lord is my strength and shield. I trust him with all my heart. He helps me, and my heart, filled with joy, burst in songs and thanksgiving. The Lord gives his people strength. He is a safe fortress for his anointed king, save your people. Bless Israel for your special possession. Lead them like a shepherd and carry them in your arms forever. Alright, well, somebody, this is what their prayer was, honestly, because God is having me talk about how people are praying them for people to be punished. And the thing is, it's not us that chooses punishment or decides what needs to be punished. We could say we feel we were justed or whatever. And I will say, I personally was cheated on. I personally was left and ghosted. But was it all I did was ask God to help me through hard times. I never asked for any justice. I don't pray for justice. I prayed for God to help me through a hard time and take me so I could be a sacrificial lamb. And I just prayed for God to help me. I never asked for any justice. I never did. I feel if you ask for justice, it's almost like you're being Judas. You know what I mean? Who are we to know what's bad and what's good and what was supposed to happen and what wasn't supposed to happen? You know what I mean? And it says I can't reach out. So somebody's blocked in some situation around here. And then we got Spirit speak. Seek wisdom in prayer, but also have an open dialogue. Alright, so we're talking about prayer, and that comes up. And then we got Deadline Surfer. Somebody was a little bit too late with everything. Somebody was just a little bit too late. A little bit too late. I mean, what would they a little bit too late from? Alright, I'm just going in my basket. Alright, love is real. Alright, they found out love is real. And they were a little bit too late on delivery. Alright, what happened? I don't know. I just literally meditated and just made up my own. I literally made up my own deck. This deck only exists here at Chong the Dog. That's it. Alright, 9 of Cardinals. Alright, birds uniting. Oh, no, Cardinals. Okay, birds uniting unity. Alright, there was unity that came from somebody that can't come back. Alright. So, this person left, they were in a deadline, they were gone so long, now they know love is real, but they can't come back, because 9 of Cardinals. The birds are uniting, and there's unity where there wasn't unity before. So, the timeline has moved. The timeline literally has jumped, and a new beginning has started for everybody. Everybody got a new beginning. So, we'll see what comes up here. I'm just going to read from Palms. Wherever I feel compelled to ring. Maybe somebody rang a bell, I don't know. Rang a bell for justice. A song for pilgrims ascending in Jerusalem. And it says, Palm of David. How wonderful and pleasant it is when brothers live together in harmony, for harmony is as precious as the scented oil that was poured over Aaron's head and ran down his beard and into the border of his robe. Harmony is as refreshing as the dew from Mount Hermon. that falls from the mountains of Zion. And there the Lord had pronounced his blessing, even like the everlasting. Alright, so these people bonded and created a new community. And this person wants a new beginning. Could have that person, if they weren't in such heavy competition, if they maybe worked with their demons, this unity wouldn't have happened. But now they can't reach out no more. They can't reach out because it would ruin this timeline. I guess what I'm saying. God kind of wants everyone to understand about timelines. And you can't mess with certain timelines. Timelines are very special. They are. Excuse me. This is very wonderful. I feel blessed to have my herbal tea. Alright, we got 777 luck. So, in this competition energy, someone got luck, confidence. Alright, I got luck and confidence. And then there was a fog. They were feeling lost, but they probably called on source. However, they decided whatever their religion was. And the tower. And it was breakup, another fragile relationship, shift in how you perceive love, unexpected job loss. Significant disruptions at work, workplace turmoil, financial setbacks, the tower. So the tower gave somebody good luck and confidence and took them out of a fog. Alright. I mean, you gotta watch. You do all this bad stuff to people, they go inward. Because when you take someone's external world, guys, and you make it so horrible to where the only thing they have left is to go to God, they will. And we got 10 of unicorns, talents and blessings. They threw themselves into projects and realized they had a talent. Or maybe they started drawing more or singing more or whatever. And they got good luck because all that energy they was to put in you, they put in something else. And when you take that energy and bring it somewhere else, that's when it just flourishes. It flourishes everywhere. It goes around like like a huge waterfall. It goes around like a huge waterfall, and it's wonderful. Alright, I'm going to read from the New Testament. I'm tired of that little shit here. Alright. And tell me about these blessings, Spirit. There we got. Alright. Alright, we're going to just use my unicorn marker. I feel like a lot of people became unicorns through all this experience. So Christ has truly set us free. Now make sure that you stay free and don't get tired up again in slavery to the law. Listen, Paul, tell you this. If you are counting on circumcision to make you right with God, then Christ will be of no benefit to you. I'll say it again. If you are trying to find favor with God by being circumcised, you may obey every regulation in the whole law of Moses, for if you are trying to make yourself right with God by keeping the law, you have been cut off from Christ. You have fallen away from God's grace, but we who live by Spirit eagerly wait to receive by faith and righteous God has promised to us. For when we place our faith in Jesus Christ, there is no benefit in being circumcised or being uncircumcised. What is important is faith expressing itself in love. You were running the race so well. Who has held you back from following the truth? It certainly isn't God, for is the one who called you to freedom. This false teaching is like little yeast that spreads through the whole patch of dough. I am trusting the Lord to keep you from believing false teachings. God will judge this person, whoever he is. Who has been confusing you? Alright, we're going to end it there. Someone's been confusing somebody. Just because you go to church or something does not mean you're in God's favor. Alright, this tower fell. Okay? Just because you went through the tower, you're not in God's favor. It means you must pay for everything you did. You might have went through every law, but it's what's in your heart that matters to God. Nothing else, nothing more. It's what is in your heart. And in that tower, God knows. And the fog was lifted. And everybody got confidence that you were in competition with. And luck. And that's it. And you got what you wanted. Maybe you got the girl. Maybe you left one girl for another or left one guy for another. And then you decided you didn't want that one girl or that one guy. Well, that's not God's fault that you can't make up your mind. And God honestly has other things to do to worry about everybody's love life. God has a lot more important things to do than worry about someone's love life. Honestly, if someone comes along, they come along. I don't even really care anymore. God tells me someone is going to come along, but I really don't care. That's where I'm at. I really don't care. Okay. We got Knight of Spears. Alright, so I'm taking this as the Knight of Wands. Okay. And let me look this up. I want to make sure I get this perfect here. Just want to make sure I get it perfect. I'd be forgetting things, guys. I do. I literally just woke up and it is what it is. So, but I do want to help you guys, and Source has been my best friend through my times of need. It has. Alright, we got Knight of Wands is the Fury action. It says representing passion, impulsiveness, and boundless energy. This card signifies a desire for adventure when it appears in. It encourages you to take bold risks and embrace spontaneity. And confidently charge towards your goals. But be aware of rushing without a plan. Okay. God, yes, Spirit. Somebody rushed without a plan. Here. Somebody rushed without a plan. And then we got 10. This talks about maintenance, encouragement, and guidance. They went and they did not tend to that. There was no guidance or maintenance. They just jumped in and said, why not? Why the fuck not? That's what they said. Why the fuck not? Probably because it's not a good idea. Alright, and then we got the Emperor in reverse. Alright, the Emperor is in reverse. So, the Emperor we know is a big... Alright, where is it? The Emperor. He's the one in charge and all that, we know that, but I want to know the esoteric one. what it means here. Okay, the Emperor reverse indicates a loss of control, authority issues, or a shift towards rigid, overpowering behavior. In a reading, it suggests you either need to take back your power from a controlling figure or rein in your own tendency to dominate others. Alright, so this person had overpowering thing and they're got a loss of control. Alright, and then on the Six of Swords, I'm in reverse. I am compelled to take, so I'm going to take those. Alright. Oh my god. Alright. I'm going to read all of that just so we hear. I like to go slow and steady so we get all of it. I do. Because I feel we get the whole message going slow. Six of Swords reversed points to a stalled transition or inability to let go of the past, baggage, or a reluctance to leave a stagnant situation. Instead of moving towards calmer waters, you might feel trapped by old habits, facing unexpected travel hurdles, or dealing with a forced, uncomfortable return to past difficulties. So someone's feeling stagnant. They left too soon. They're with the controlling partner. And they're just kind of stuck there in this competition. And says you weren't born to compete, you were born to be. Yeah, comparison carves deep, traveling, tricking you into chasing a spotlight that isn't yours. Alright, somebody was tricked into a competition. Gotcha, Spirit. Gotcha. You guys gotta be careful with these kind of energies. This competition energy it's not the best, guys. It really, really isn't. How did this affect the collective? Unaware, no connection to the divine, resentful. Okay. The person they were unaware, they had no connection to the divine, and now they're resentful. Alright, we're going to ask one more. How did this affect their cause? How did this affect their cause? Alright, we got 3 of Coyotes, gathering of a pack. So, people were gathering in packs, but there was no connection to the divine at all. To source, to God, to anything. So they just ran around in packs. Alright, what was the end result? What was the end result? Tell us the end result, Spirit. Alright. 10 of Flies, monitoring spirits. They had people monitoring them. And it doesn't have to mean nothing. I kind of threw that because a lot of live streamers say that if they see flies and all that, they're monitoring spirits. So monitoring spirit can mean just somebody's spying on you. Okay, so they got people spying on them. So they can't literally go forward because they got people spying on them. Wow. I don't think it was worth whatever they had going on. It doesn't think that it was worth it. Alright, tell us about that situation through the Bible. I think sometimes these situations. Alright. Luke 24. We're going to read that. But very early on Sunday morning, the women went to the tomb, taking the spices they had prepared. They found that the stone had been rolled away from the entrance, so they went in and didn't find the body of Jesus They stood there, puzzled. Two men suddenly appeared on them, clothed in dazzling robes. The women were terrified and bowed with their faces to the ground. The men asked, "Why are you looking among the dead for someone who is alive? He isn't here. He's risen from the dead. Remember what he told you back in Galilee. The Son of Man must be betrayed into the hands of sinful man and be crucified, and that he would rise again on the third day." And they remembered that he had said this, so they rushed back from the tomb to tell his 11 disciples and everybody else what had happened. It was Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and several other women who had told the apostles what had happened. But in the story surrounded like nonsense to the men, so they didn't believe it. However, Peter jumped up and ran to the tomb to look. Stooping, he peered and saw the empty linen wrappings, and he went home again, wondering what happened. That same day, two of Jesus' followers were walking to the village of Emmaus, 7 miles from Jerusalem. As they walked along, they were talking about everything that had happened. As they talked and discussed these things, Jesus himself suddenly came and began walking with them, and but God kept them from recognizing him. He asked them, "What are you discussing so intensely as you walk along?" They stopped short, sadness written across their faces. One of them, Cleopas, replied, "You must be the only person in Jerusalem who hasn't heard about all the things that happened here in the last few days." "What things?" Jesus asked. "The things that happened to Jesus, the man from Nazareth," they said. "He was a prophet who did powerful miracles. He was a mighty teacher in the eyes of God and all the people. But our leading priests and other religious leaders handed him to be condemned to death, and they crucified him. We had hoped he was the Messiah who had come to rescue Israel. That all happened 3 days ago." The same women from our group of his followers were at the tomb early this morning, and they came back with amazing reports. They said his body was missing, and they had seen angels who told them Jesus is alive. Some of our men ran out to see, and sure enough, his body was gone, just as the women had said. Then Jesus said to them, "You foolish people, you found it so hard to believe that the prophets wrote in the scriptures. Wasn't it clearly predict the Messiah would have to suffer of all the things that before entering his glory?" Then Jesus took them through writings of Moses and the prophets, explaining from the scriptures the things concerning himself. By the time they were nearing Emmaus and the end of their journey, Jesus acted as if he were going on, but they begged him, "Stay the night with us, since it's getting late." So he went home with them and sat down to eat. He looked at the bread and blessed it, and then he broke it and gave it to them. Suddenly their eyes were open, and they recognized him. And at that moment, he disappeared, and they said to each other, "Didn't our hearts burn with us as he talked with us to the road and explained the scriptures to us?" And with the hour they were on their way back to Jerusalem, found the 11 disciples and the others. All right, hang on. Okay, and the others who had gathered with them, who said, "The Lord has really risen. He has appeared to Peter." Then the two from Emmaus told their story how Jesus had appeared to them as they were walking along the road, and how they had recognized him was breaking the bread. Just as they were talking about it, Jesus himself was suddenly standing there among them. "Peace be with you," he said. But the whole group was startled and frightened, thinking they were seeing a ghost. "Why are you frightened?" he asked. "Why are your hearts filled with doubt? Look at my hands, look at my feet. Can you see it's really me? Touch me and make sure that I am not a ghost, because ghosts don't have bodies, as you see that I do." As he spoke, he showed them his hands and his feet, and they stood there in disbelief, filled with joy and wonder. And then he asked them, "Do you have anything here to eat?" They gave him a piece of bottled broiled fish, and he ate it as they watched. Then he said, "When I was with you before, I told you that everything written about me in the law of Moses and the prophets and in Psalms will be fulfilled." Then he opened their minds to understand the scriptures, and then he said, "Yes, it was written long ago that the Messiah would suffer and die and rise from the dead and on the third day. It was also written that this message would be proclaimed in the authority of his name to all nations, beginning in Jerusalem. There is forgiveness of sins for those who repent. You are witnesses of all these things. And now I will send the Holy Spirit just as my Father promised, but stay here in the city until the Holy Spirit comes and fills you with power from heaven." Then Jesus led them to Bethany, and lifting his hands to heaven, he blessed them. While he was blessing them, he left and was taken up to the heavens. So they worshipped, and they returned to Jerusalem and filled with great joy, and they spent their time in the temple praising God. So what once is proclaimed dead could come back. So I'm just going through, and whatever source wants me to read, I'm reading at this point. This is what source wanted done today. This is what I do. So this person didn't believe that something could be mended with a situation with a lover that they were in competition with. So they left. As they left, the parable of this story was their lover. Yeah, ready or not, here I come, was coming back. The lover was coming back. And then we have and they had gratitude, so they were filled with love. And then we have Five of Wands. They were not in competition with anybody. Five of Wands, no competition. And using love, they use love as a weapon, and they felt like shit because they done this, whoever this is. And then Six of Pentacles. Damn, I gotta memorize this. Spirit wants me to recognize all these. Alright, let me look this up here. Alright. Six of Pentacles. Alright, this is in reverse, so it's an imbalance in control. Alright, it's the flow. It's the flow of giving and receiving is disrupted in an unhealthy dynamic in how you manage resources or relationships. Alright, so that's what this person did. They gave an imbalance to this person. So they didn't think they could come back from the imbalance. But the true intentions was revealed. And then we got overbearing behavior was done. And then divine protection was put. This person can never be touched because divine protection. And the Wheel of Fate. Wheel of Fate, the Wheel of Fortune rolled in the person they left behind. And then Knight of Cups. This person always was charming and idealistic and determined. and tactful and graceful. This is what this person always kind of resided in, the Knight of Cups, male or female. And they have ancient knowledge. And they let it go. They let it go. They just let it go. Lies of envy turn against the gossiper. That's how this story ends. And then we have, okay, this one just fell to the ground. Using dark magic to destroy magic. It fell down to the ground. Probably got returned back to sender, I would say. It probably got returned back to sender, y'all. And then we got breaking free. This person broke free from whatever happened. And then this person, everybody got tired of fighting because nothing they did worked. And they kept the bar right where it was. And they didn't, and they're not, I don't even think they took anyone back, y'all. It says, and then they're restful repose. Let yourself observe with no judgment to see clearly. They're not judging no one, they just want to be left alone. This person pushed somebody so far, they're done. And then 6 of Swords. Upright. This is calmer waters. I'm pretty sure this is calmer waters. Let me check. I'm pretty sure 6 of Swords is calmer waters. Let me double check. I am going to get better, guys. I promise. Okay, yeah. 6 of Swords is, moving away from difficulty, leaving behind painful situation or emotional baggage for calmer waters. I was right. This person moved away for calmer waters. Rats in the mist were hidden in the shadows. They had to leave. And we got political theaters. This is how this other person was describing the whole situation when this person leave. They were acting like a politician. And they were coming at him like 5 of Swords. They were fighting. There was conflict with this political arena bullshit right over here. And then we have King of Wands. Honor, energy, passion, inspired action, ambition, drive, and desire and enterprise. This person is now male or female, the King of Wands. They could be charismatic, they could be on social media, they could be anything. But this is the story of somebody. And whoever I'm describing, keep going. Keep going. Source loves you, the angels love you, keep going. That's all I got to say is keep going. And if you like this video, like and subscribe. And if not, thank you for watching, and I appreciate y'all. And I'll see you on the next one.